Hi everyone, it's me, Sarah, and today we are going to talk about my July TBR. And what's exciting about this month's TBR is I have a game that I am going to be using to help me build my TBR. One of my favorite things about BookTube and what I really, what really got me into watching BookTube is the TBR games. I will stop what I am doing when I see a new TBR game video has been posted because I love them so much. And I always thought to myself that if I were to ever have my own channel, I wanted to have a TBR game. Um, but the challenge for me was coming up with the idea because I don't really want to take from others TBR games because I know that each person has worked so hard to have their game. But like I said, I love TBR games. So yesterday morning, Saturday morning, I was sitting in the house. My son was playing Roblox, and I thought to myself, hey, why don't we play a game of Yahtzee? And so we played a couple of games of Yahtzee. He won one, I won one. And as we were playing, a little light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, well, why don't I make my TBR game based off of Yahtzee? And so that is what I have done. And so I have my Yahtzee game here, and I am going to go over the rules, my rules, in just a minute. It's nothing complicated. And I am basically just keeping true to the game of Yahtzee and just putting my own like categories in for each of the types of roles that you can get. And so I really hope that you all enjoy me making my TBR using this game. I had a lot of fun filming it and like preparing it and filming it. And so going forward, that is what I am going to do. I am going to play Yahtzee to help me build my TBR. So I hope you have as much fun with it as I did. Okay, so just a quick rundown as to how um, I plan to use the Yahtzee game for my TBR and um, explain like my reasoning behind like the points, like keeping track of the points and everything. So I plan to play Yahtzee not completely all the way through. I'm only going to do uh, eight turns instead of all 13. That way, it kind of gives a chance for like a variety of different prompts that I'll be picking each month. So starting with the upper section, I am going to, as I play, I am going to keep track of the points because I do have like a reward system planned out in place that is going to involve like keeping track of the points. Anyways, starting with the upper section, so if I fill in any of the spaces based off of like, totaling up the number of ones that I rolled or twos or whatever, I am going to randomly choose one of my reading journal challenge prompts. I have spoken briefly on this in past TBRs, but the reading journal that I am using this year, they are like stickers that I put in and then just write on them. And each month, the person who I purchased these stickers from, her name is Sweet Beans Planning. I think she has really great products. Um, Anyways, she has like a monthly reading challenge. There are 6 different prompts. And so I will write all of the prompts down and just pick at them from random and fill a book in that place. When I am done, I will total up the total number of points that I earned in the upper section. Not that I ever anticipate this happening, but you never know. In the Yahtzee game, there is like a reward bonus in the top section that if you have 63 or more points, you get an extra 35 points. And so I plan to, like, if that should ever happen, I will get to remove a book from the TBR, bringing me down to seven books instead of eight. And then looking at the lower section, I do have like personal challenges that I have for myself, as well as like, just other things that I think might be fun to kind of throw in there. So if I fill in the three of a kind space, that's where I will add a total of all of the dice. I will choose from my 26 and 26 books. If I roll a four of a kind, again, adding the total of the dice, I will choose a prompt from our fantasy that I have not fulfilled yet. If I get a full house, that gives me 25 points. It will be like a friend or a poll pick. So, giving my friends some choices, um, or like in Discord or something, wherever, giving some choices and leaving it out of my hands as far as which book is the winner. A small straight, so that's a sequence of four that gives 30 points. I will pull from one of my unread special editions, because I love collecting special editions, but I'm not reading them at the rate that I am collecting them. So I need to try to prioritize reading my special editions. A large straight is a sequence of five, and that will be a book club pick. So it could be either my own personal, like in real life book club that I run um, with some of the ladies that I work with at school, or it might be one of the book clubs that I, typically participate in, especially Kiss and Tell Book Club or Tortured Readers Book Club. Maybe one of those picks if it is something that I am really eager to get to. If I roll a Yahtzee, I am going to continue a series because this is another area where it has gotten completely out of control. I love to start series, but continuing them is somewhat of a challenge for me. And so I'll have to do a spinner wheel for this because I am like, I have over 100 series that I have started, but have not continued even though I want to. And then if I fill out, that gives 50 points. If I fill out the chance space, that is a total of all of the dice. I will go into my Libby holds and pick, either the first book that's on my Libby hold list, or maybe do like, the first book that just appeals to me, because I do have some books on hold that I want to get to, but it just may not be the right time for it. So, I will choose, one of my Libby holds and try to make it one that I've had on hold for, the longest amount of time. And then in Yahtzee, that if you have rolled a Yahtzee and you've done it a second time, like you get a bonus 100 points for each time you do that. And so, that's another one that I don't anticipate ever getting to as well, or, not happening very often. So I decided to make that a free space. So if I do, manage to get a Yahtzee and then a second or more Yahtzee in those 8 rolls, then it will be a free space. It will, I won't have to choose a book for it. So again, it's just helping to reduce the number of required reads. And then the reason why I said that I wanted to continue to take points is because I thought it would be fun to have like a reward system in place. So once I have accumulated 500 points, so, like I'll roll over this month's points into next month. And once I've accumulated 500 or more points, I will reward myself with a trip to the bookstore. And like maybe treating myself to lunch or something, just something that I'm not doing all of the time, but it is, something to kind of look forward to and work towards. And so that is how I am going to use the game Yahtzee to help me build a TBR. And then So we have a reward system in place. I thought that also there should be a punishment system in place. And that would just be, if I do not read all of the books in my TBR, then I will add a ninth roll. So, that just adds a little bit more of a challenge to where I have an extra book that I need to try to get through so that I don't have to take a punishment. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking of how I want to play the game. And of course, as I play the game and, kind of get into it a few months down the road, if I feel like there needs to be like a rule change or maybe like change up one of the categories, add roles, remove roles, whatever, we will just cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, book number 1. Okay, we've got 2 2s, 2 4s. So I think I am going to go for a full house. That did nothing. And that did nothing. Okay, so I can go for, I think we'll go for the 2 4s. So that is going to be 8 points and a journal prompt. Book number 2. Okay, let's see. I could go for a full house again. Got 2 2s and 2 3s. And we got the full house that time. So that is 25 points and will be a friend pick. Book number 3. Let's see. 3, 4, 5. I could try to get a small straight. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I can get either a 2 or a 6. And I've got a 2, so I have a small straight, but I'm going to try to get a large straight because I have one more roll left. And I did not get it, but at least I have the small straight, and that is 30 points and will be a special edition. Roll number 4 or book number 4. Two 2s, a 3, a 4, and a 6. Let's just put the two 1s, not 2 2s, 2 1s. And that got me nothing. 2 3. Okay, so I've got a full house. I've already done a full house. I could do 3 1s for 3 points. I could do 3 of a kind, but that's only 13 points. It's kind of a low 3 of a kind. Or I can do my 2 5s for 10 points. I think I'm going to do my 3 1s. So that will be 3 points and a journal prompt. Book number 5. Let's see, 2 4s, 2 6s, and a 5. I think I am going to, well, I already have a full house. Well, then let me go for the 6s. Got another 6. Okay, 4 of a kind. That is 25 points and a um our fantasy prompt. Book number 6. Okay, 2 6s, a 5, a 3, and a 2. Let's just keep the 6s again. I've got 3 of a kind. Okay, 3 of a kind, so that's 18, 23 points, and a buzzword prompt. Book number, I lost my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Book number 7 gives us 3 2s and 2 4s. Look, another full house. We'll keep the 2s. That gave us nothing. Okay, so 3 2s. So I am going to put that in the 2 spot. So that will be 6 points and a journal prompt. And then our last book, book number 8. 2 1s, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Let's see, 3, 4, 5. Do I try to go? I think I'm going to try to get my large straight. And if I don't get it, I will put it in the chance spot. 3 4s. Oh, I've already used 4s. Should I try? You know what? Change of plans. We're going to keep the 4s and see if I can't get 2 more 4s. And if not, then I'll just put it in the chance spot. Okay. So we are going to put in for our chance. So 12 plus 7 is 22 points. And that is a Libby pick. Book number 1, we rolled 2 4s. So that was in the upper category. So that is going to be a reading journal prompt. So I have my July prompts right here. And the first one is a book with summer in the title. So I will look through my books and be right back with what I chose. For summer in the title, I decided to go with One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. This is the companion novel to Every Summer After, which I am actually currently watching on Prime Video. I just started the series. I know that it's gotten mixed reviews, but I, enjoyed the first book, and so I wanted to give the series a try. But in this book, we follow the brother Charlie. It says, I never anticipated Charlie Florek. Good things happen at the lake. That's what Alice's grandmother says, and it's true. Alice spent just one summer there at a cottage with Nan when she was 17. It's where she took that photo, the one of 3 grinning teenagers in a yellow speedboat, the image that changed her life. Now Alice lives behind a lens. As a photographer, she's most comfortable on the sidelines, letting other people shine. Lately, though, she's been itching for something more, and when Nan falls and breaks her hip, Alice comes up with a plan for them both. Another summer in that magical place, Barry's Bay. But as soon as they settle in, their peace is disrupted by the roar of a familiar yellow boat and the man driving it. Charlie Florek was 19 when Alice took his photo from afar. Now he's all grown up, a shameless flirt who manages to make Nan laugh, and Alice longed to be 17 again, when life was simpler, when taking pictures was just for fun. Sun slanted days and warm nights out on the lake with Charlie are a balm for Alice's soul, but when she looks up and sees his piercing green gaze directly on her, she begins to worry for her heart. Because Alice sees people. That's why she is so good at what she does, but she's never met someone who looks and sees her right back. This sounds really good. Like I said, I read Every Summer After earlier this year and really enjoyed it, and enjoyed getting to know Charlie um, in that book. And so I am excited to read this one and get a his own love story, especially since he is like a playboy or, like not one to commit. And so I am excited to read this book. Roll number two, or book number two, I rolled a full house, which a full house is a friend or pole pick. So for this, since I, kind of came up with this game um, just today as I was playing Yahtzee with my son, it kind of like occurred to me that this would be a really fun way to do a TBR game, because I've been wanting to do one for ever since I started my channel and just had not come up with the right idea. And so I, kind of came up with all of the logistics and everything just today. And I'm filming today, and I want to try to get this video out to you all tomorrow. And so I do not really have time to do a poll pick or get my friends to choose from books. And so I am going to go a little bit off the cusp with this. So I will be right back with the book that I am choosing for this prompt. Roll. Okay, so like I mentioned, I did not really have time today to reach out to my friends or to put up a poll pick for the friend or poll pick prompt. And so I am kind of twisting my own rules a little bit and am choosing a book that my friend Katie picked for me when we were on our girls' weekend road trip just a few weeks ago, and which you will see the vlogs. Both she and I are going to put out vlogs for that trip, and those videos will be coming soon. And so in that video, I did talk about how I asked Katie to pick a book for me in one of the bookshops that we went to, and she chose Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bestone. She told me that I had to read this book and that I needed to be prepared to feel all of my feels with it. And so I am excited to already be able to get to this book and let her know what I thought of it. It says, grieving the loss of her best friend, a young woman finds her life turned upside down when she meets a grumpy stranger who swears he can help her live again, by the beloved author of Ready or Not. Lenny is a bit of a mess. Ever since cancer stole away her best friend, she has been completely lost. She's avoiding her concerned parents, the apartment she shared with her best friend, and the laminated live again list of things she's promised to do to survive her grief. But maybe if she acts like she has it all together, no one will notice she's falling apart. The only gigs she can handle right now are temporary babysitting jobs, and she just landed a great one, helping overworked single mom Reese and her precocious daughter Ainsley. The only catch, Ainsley's uncle Miles always seems to be around and is kind of a walking version of the grumpy cat meme. Worse, he seems to be able to see right through her. Surprisingly, Miles knows a lot about grief, and he offers Lenny a proposition. He'll help her complete everything on her live again list if she'll help him connect with Ainsley and overcome his complicated relationship with Reese. Lenny doubts that anything can fill the void her best friend has left behind, but between late night ferry rides, midnight ramen, and a well placed shoulder whenever she needs it, Miles just won't stop showing up for her. Turns out sometimes your life has to end to find your new beginning. This sounds so good, and I think that this is going to be the book that gives me like just a really good cry, which I feel like I need I don't really know why. I don't really have a reason as to why I feel like I need a good cry, but I just do, and I feel like this might be the book to get that for me. Book number 3 was A Small Straight, which is a special edition. And so, as you can see, I have a lot special editions in here. Um, so let me give it a good look at all of them. Like I said, it's special editions are somewhat out of control at the moment. And I do have some special edition titles in here where they are like, continued on in a series. But if I pull a book that I haven't read, the book that comes before it, I will put this one back in and I will just choose the book that, the current book that I am on. So let's see. So this is A Promise of Lies, which I know is not the book that I am going to read because I haven't started the series. I have the whole series in special edition, but I have not started it. So this one is going to go back in. And the book that I am actually going to read, the special edition I am actually going to read, is A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. So let me go grab that. For special edition, I am reading A Kiss of Iron by Claire Sager. This is the Bookish Box edition that I actually bought this one secondhand. I bought it off of Pango and then ended up purchasing the other 2 books in this trilogy when they put them on sale. And so I am excited to get to this book and to this series because I have read 2 other Claire Sager books this year and I enjoyed both of them. I enjoy her writing. And so it says, in the cutthroat game of court life, masters manipulate pawns, and you never know which one you are. One thing is certain, there's no space on the board for love. A penniless noblewoman, Kat, is on the verge of losing everything when she's offered a well-paid job that could be her salvation or her ruin. Drawn into court's deadly intrigues, she's given a single task: spy on the powerful Fey Lord known as the Night Queen's shadow. Bastian Marwood is handsome, ruthless, and cunning, but Kat can't decide if he's a threat to her kingdom or just her heart. To uncover the truth, she must play a dangerous game of desire and deceit, pushing him to reveal his secrets while protecting her own. But Bastian's shadows have a hold on her, one she isn't sure she wants to escape. Kat soon learns that at court, nothing is as it seems, and even the best laid plans can be destroyed in an instant. As a pawn on the board, she can't afford to fall victim to love, only fight for survival. Um, that sounds really good. And I know that several booktubers who I enjoy watching have enjoyed this book. And so I am really excited to give this one a go. Book number 4, I rolled 3 ones. So that is another journal prompt. So for this one, we'll go with this prompt, and it is a domestic thriller. Good. I feel like I don't read as many thrillers as I want to, so let me go grab one and I will check back in with you. The book that I chose for domestic thriller is That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. This is another book that I have heard nothing but good reviews from people who I know, whether on Book Talk or in real life. Have just like given it 4 and 5 stars. And so I am really excited to read this one. It is a little bit shorter, which is good because A Kiss of Iron is on the longer side. And to my understanding, it is also a YA thriller, which I, have not read a whole lot of. And so I am excited to get to this one. It says, it was a mistake to trust him. Shivering and bruised, a teen wakes up on the side of a dirt road with no memory of how she got there or who she is. The police don't know where she came from until a frantic man arrives at the station. He's been searching for her for hours. He has her school ID, her birth certificate, and even family photos. He is her father. Her name is Mary, or so he says. When Lola slammed the car door and stormed off into the night, Drew thought they just needed some time to cool off. Except Lola disappeared. Now his friends, the sheriff, and the whole town are convinced Drew murdered his girlfriend. Forget proving his innocence, he needs to find her. The longer Lola is missing, the fewer leads there are to follow, and the more danger they both are in. Another one that sounds really good, and I am really excited to get to this one and to see how um, both Mary and Lola connect. Like, are they the same person? I do not know, but I am going to find out. Book number 5 was a four of a kind. And so for that one, I am going to pull an R fantasy prompt that I have not gotten to yet, that I have not fulfilled. I think as of right now, I am only 8. I think I've only fulfilled 8, so I have quite a few prompts to go. So we'll go with this one. Okay. So this says politics and court intrigue, and I had a kiss of iron chosen for that prompt. But since I just pulled a kiss of iron for my last book, I am going to choose something different for this prompt. So let me look through my books and I will come back to you with what I have chosen. So for politics and court intrigue, I ended up pulling a Kiss of Iron, which, as you just saw, I already have on the TBR. So I am going to choose a different book for this prompt, and I'll just replace it on my Our Fantasy bingo board. And that is The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. This is my Fairy Loot edition. This is um, another YA book that I'll be getting to this month. And I have heard really good things about it when this edition first came out, and then I really haven't heard a lot about it since. Although I do see a lot of people like considering it for their TBRs, and so I am, like I said, I'm excited to get to this one. So, and oh, and it looks like it is also historical, like a historical fantasy. It says England 1848. The season is officially open, and high society girls line up to bargain with the immortal Queen Morian for qualities that will win them suitors: a perfect smile for the loss of a finger, an exquisite talent for piano in exchange for one's happiest childhood memory. Lady Ivy Benton plans to use her bargain to uncover the truth about what happened to her beloved sister Lydia, whose mysterious disappearance and reappearance means the Benton family have been cast out by polite society. But instead, Ivy's season arrives with a shocking twist. The queen announces a competition to win the hand of her fae son, Prince Bram. Marrying the prince is a prize that could save Ivy's family from ruin. Yet every glittering fae deal has a rotting heart, and amidst lavish balls, vicious competitions, and a dangerous alliance with the prince's irresistible brother, Prince Emmett, Ivy realizes that at the center of this contest lies a dark plot that could destroy all of England and her heart along with it. Okay, I don't know about you, but this is kind of giving me like young adult fantasy Bridgerton vibes, which I am here for. So I am kind of glad that A Kiss of Iron came up twice so that I was pushed to choose this book. Book number 6 was a three of a kind, which in the clip I did say was going to be a buzzword choice, but then I kind of figured there's only, like two prompts per month for that, and that what's the fun in that? So I changed it to my remaining 26 in 26 books, which as of right now, I am so proud of myself. I am 13 books in, so I am exactly where I need to be with that. So let's see. And I do want to point out that some of these books are in more than one pot, like we just saw with A Kiss of Iron. And so if I, pull something that has already been chosen, then I will just pick again for this one. So for my 26 and 26 prompt, I have Beyond Those Gilded Walls. So this is one from a book subscription. I can't remember. I once I grab the book, I'll be able to remember. But I know that I am no longer subscribed to whatever subscription this is from, and so this was kind of like a push to help me you know, get through those books. If I kind of like challenge myself, because if by the end of 2026, if I haven't read it, I am just going to unhaul it and cut my losses. So I will be right back with that book. The 26 and 26 book that I pulled for this month is Beyond Those Gilded Walls by Jessica S. Taylor. So this is the one that I was saying that I could not remember, but now that I've pulled it, I do remember it was a Moonlight book box. I only had that subscription for a few months because like when I was on the wait list, I was really, enjoying the picks. And then once I started my subscription, like all of the books that were coming were not really ones that were intriguing to me or that I was interested in. And so I decided to cancel, and now I feel like they are picking good picks again, but I have way too many special editions, and so the FOMO is just going to have to, live rent free in my head, and I will be okay. But I had never heard of this book. I mean, it's a beautiful edition, like the foiling on this, and it's a naked hardcover, is really beautiful. And so I'm going to read the synopsis on the card. It says, in a kingdom drowning in blood, all Odessa Duhiva wants is to save her family, but the price of salvation may be higher than she ever imagined. The kingdom of Varesia has been forsaken by its prince, who has chosen instead to drown out the screams of the dying. Trapped in a kingdom without a leader and blamed by her brothers for her mother's death, Odessa has little hope of ever succeeding at honoring her mother's dying wish. Driven by desperation, Odessa ventures into the heart of the barricaded castle, masquerading as a servant amidst the prince's nightly opulent parties. But as she delves deeper into the castle's secrets, she uncovers a sinister connection between the coward prince and the devastating plague. After attracting the attention of the prince's most trusted advisor, Odessa finds herself entangled in a dangerous game of power and deceit. With each step closer to the truth, she realizes that her fate and the fate of her family rests in the hands of the handsome stranger whose true intentions for betraying his prince and helping her seem content to remain shrouded in mystery. As forbidden passions ignite, tentative alliances are forged, and dark secrets are revealed, Odessa must choose between following her heart or sacrificing it for the promise of salvation. It says that this was inspired by various works of Edgar Allan Poe, and it is a standalone adult gothic fantasy romance brimming with rare magic, treacherous romance, and dark opulence. And so, the synopsis makes this sound interesting enough. Will I like it? That we will see. Um, so yep, that is my 26 and 26. Like I said, any book on my 26 and 26 that doesn't get read by the end of the year, I am going to unhaul. And so, I spent my money on these books, and so I want to read them. But like I said, this is not one that I would have ever pulled off of my shelf. And so I am glad to have the push to give it a chance. Book number 7 was Three Twos. So another journal prompt. We'll go with this one. The character's name is a city. Ooh, and I think I know just what book to use for this prompt. So I will be right back. So in the month of June, I really found myself drawn to romantic suspense, and read quite a few romantic suspense books that I enjoyed quite a lot for the most part. There were a couple of misses, but we're not going to talk about those. And so when I pulled that the character's name is a city, my mind immediately went to this book, and that is Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This is the second book in the Edens series, the first book being Indigo Ridge. So Indigo Ridge was one that I read just last month and I really enjoyed. And in like the last chapter or in the epilogue, the main character in that book met the a new person come to town named Memphis, as in like Memphis, Tennessee, or Memphis, Egypt. And so that, that prompt was perfect because like I didn't even have to think or like do research or anything because it, was still fresh in my mind. And so I am excited to continue on with this series. And so let's see, it says, don't miss the continuation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. This is going to be a neighbors to lovers romance. Um, and it is interconnected. So, like the Eden family is kind of the family. Takes place in Montana, I believe, and the Eden family, kind of is like the founding family and has their hand in a lot of the businesses in this town. And so, like each book follows a different member of the Eden family. So it says Memphis Ward arrives in Quincy, Montana on the fifth worst day of her life. She needs a shower. She needs a snack. She needs some sanity because moving across the country with her newborn baby is by far the craziest thing she's ever done. But maybe it takes a little crazy to build a good life. If putting the past behind her requires 1,000 miles and a new town, she'll do it if it means a better future for her son. Even if it requires setting aside the glamour of her former life, even if it requires working as a housekeeper at the Eloise Inn and living in an apartment above a garage. It's there on the fifth worst day of her life that she meets the handsomest man she's ever laid eyes on. Knox Eden is a beautiful, sinful dream, a chef and her temporary landlord. With his sharp, stubbled jaw and tattooed arms, he's raw and rugged in everything she's never had and never will. Because after the first worst day of her life, Memphis learned a good life requires giving up on her dreams too. And a man like Knox Eden will only ever be a dream. So it seems like there is also going to be like some resistance in this relationship. So maybe some really good tension and yearning is in store for me. And so we will see. Like I said, I am excited to continue on with the series because I really did enjoy Indigo Ridge. And for book number 8, I rolled a chance, which is a Libby hold. And so I will pop up my screen of me looking through my Libby holds, and I didn't really have to look very far. I just went with the book that was at the top of my, like predicted availability, which is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, which is good because, like I said, I've been kind of wanting to get thrillers. And so I am glad to have 2 thrillers on my TBR. Let me go grab that book real quick. So the first book on my Libby, like my suspended Libby's hold, was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I have the really pretty um, gory sprayed edges, if you will. And if you could see in the clip that I put this book on hold basically a year ago. And so it is about time that I am getting to it. And I am kind of in the mood for some thrillers this month. And so I am glad to be picking this up. It says, his mistress is dead, his wife his only hope. And I know I've heard that this isn't the best written book out there, and that a lot of people were able to predict quite early on the twist in this. But I am on summer vacation. So sorry, my phone cut off the recording, and so as I was going back and editing, I realized that um, half of this clip does not exist. And so I was saying that, I've heard that a lot of people were able to early on predict the twist in this book, The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. And that's perfectly fine with me because I am on summer vacation. Summer school ended earlier this week, and so I have nothing holding me back for the next 4 weeks or so. And so, a trashy thriller is just sounding really good to me. Um, and so let's see what this book is about. Sarah Morgan is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Washington, D.C. With a perfect case record and having made named partner before the age of 35, her life is going exactly the way she planned. However, the same cannot be said for her husband, Adam, a failed author who's grown to resent his wife's meteoric success as he feels it's come at the expense of their relationship. For almost 2 years, Adam has kept his affair with Kelly Summers a secret, but everything changes when her body is discovered at the couple's lake house and Adam is arrested on suspicion of murder. Sarah now finds herself facing her most challenging case yet when she vows to defend her husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. While Adam is certainly guilty of sleeping with Kelly, the question remains, is he guilty of killing her too? So I don't really know how she is able to defend him as his lawyer. That just kind of seems like a conflict of interest to me. And if he is, doing what if he has been stepping out on her, I personally would not want to be his defense lawyer, but hey, to each their own. And so like I said, I've heard that this is more of a, just wild ride of a time. The writing's not the best, the storyline is not the best, but it's summer and that's, just seems like the perfect summer thriller to me. And so this is the last book that is on the TBR. I am going to add 3 more books to my July TBR, but these 3 books will not count towards the TBR game. These are more just priority reads that I want to get to this month. The first being Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. This is the romantasy. This was romantasy fairy loot for May of last year that I just never got around to. But they are going to be doing the pre-order for the sequel to this book early on in July. And so I am wanting to pick this up to read it to see if I even want to get the pre-order or not. I've heard mixed things about it. I heard that the magic system was really interesting, but that it's kind of slow paced and is not as good as her Everseas series, but I am open to giving this a try. It says, together they'll restore a broken kingdom or burn it to the ground. In a kingdom long divided, Lyra Bien intends to live a quiet life to avoid the attention of magic-obsessed King Damer. Until Rourke Ashwood, the monarch's silent but irresistibly handsome soldier, invades her village and uncovers Lyra's secret. That she is a melder. Gifted in the 3 magical crafts, bone, blood, and soul, a melder is highly sought after, but there is a price. Their magic is also the seed of their destruction. Forced to reveal her ability, Lyra is immediately claimed by Rorik for the king to be his next melder. Now, the captive of this brooding soldier, she must find a way to escape. But could Rorik himself be the key to her freedom? What neither of them realizes is that a dangerous truth lies beneath everything. Together, they will have to choose to stand against all they know, or face a darker destiny. Sorry, that was a little bit hard to read because the text is kind of dark against a dark background. So that is priority read number 1. And then I have 2 others that I want to get to because these are authors that are coming to my local indie bookstore this month in July. And so I want to read their books before going into this event to see if I want to pick up their books or not. And the first one is The Greatest Game by Tara Sexton. And I'm going to pop a picture of it up here for you. This says that it is a spicy enemies to lovers soccer romance, which I don't think I've ever really done a true soccer romance. Like, I know that in the Bergman brothers, like several of the siblings, I've only read the first three, but I know that soccer is a sport that many in the family do play. But this seems like this is going to be like a true soccer romance. So it says, she's met her match, but will the winner take all or lose everything? Marcy Ackerman's dream job is as head soccer coach at Pemberton Prep is turning into a nightmare. Her new boss has given her an ultimatum: with win the state championship or say goodbye to her job and her girls forever. To make matters worse, Pemberton's rival school hires the last person she ever expects: hotshot ex-England football player Remington Lockley. Remy ran from London to escape the scandal which jeopardized his entire professional career, and with both their reputations and jobs on the line, Marcy and Remy must do whatever it takes to be winners on and off the pitch. But every match has its penalties, and falling for the enemy may be just what Marcy's boss needs to get rid of her for good. When soccer is life and love is the greatest game of all, can she juggle both? And I think that this is just the perfect time to read a soccer romance with the World Cup going on, and everything. And so I am excited to give this a try. I do not believe I have ever read anything by her before. Um, let's see. Well, she does not have I guess she had, this is her second book that she's come out with. The first one called Paired, a Second Helping. And it actually, she didn't even write this book. So this is actually her debut novel. And so I am really glad for to give this author a try. And the other book that's listed on her Goodreads, she was actually the editor for. And so I am excited to give this a try. And it looks like that she has an upcoming book early next year called Giving Up the Goal, an emotional and uplifting sapphic New York romance. So I am excited to give this book a try. And the other book that I want to prioritize this month, because the author is coming to my bookstore, is called The Romance Loop by Mary Shotwell. And this, let's see, there is no synopsis for this. Hi, it's me again. So I went into like a whole spiel going off of memory of what I thought this book was about and was completely wrong, which I have a tendency to do. So let me tell you what this book actually is about, and then we will get back into our regularly scheduled program. It says, what if your love story rewrote you? Romance author Lacey Travers' career is flatter than the champagne at her last pity party. So when a disgruntled fan accused her of ruining love at a sad little book signing and her ex-boyfriend Elliot swoops in like a knight in polyester armor, it's just another weird chapter in her life. But things take a surreal turn when a party invite lands her not in Elliot's apartment, but in an operating room as the surgeon in a world straight out of one of her books. Trapped in her own romance novel with no clue how to escape, Lacey must survive cringy tropes, steam-soaked plot twists, and the very cliches she once mocked. When Elliot gets pulled into the chaos too, the two must navigate vampire seductions, cowboy duels, and more than a few forced proximity scenes. The real kicker, the more they rewrite the story, the more the story rewrites them. With every sizzling page turned, Lacey begins to question the love she's always written off, and the nerdy sci-fi writer who's been beside her all along. The Romance Loop is a laugh-out-loud, genre-hopping romantic comedy, a story about messy hearts, meta love, and the unexpected magic of a story you never saw coming. So this sounds like it is going to have a lot of humor twisted in with like this fantastical elements to it. And so I am really excited to give this author and this book a try. So there you have it, my friends. That is the end of my July TBR and my very first round of TBR Yahtzee. I hope you enjoyed the game as much as I did, and I hope that you will come back for my August TBR to see how I did in July and see what points I am going to get to put towards a reward in the near future. if you made it to the end of this video and you don't have anything to say, leave me some kind of like game emoji for Yahtzee. I don't know if there is a dice, but if there's a dice, do a dice. But if not, just any game related emoji will do. And and that is that. I don't ever know how to end these videos. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.